Hello, everyone. Welcome to another wonderful and sweet and potentially short Wild Moments show brought to everyone by explore.org. My name is Ali, and today joining me again is Jamie on the other side of your screen, I hope. At least that's what it
Hi,
looks like to
everybody.
me. I mean, I hope I'm only on the one half of your screen, Jamie. But
Yeah,
me
that
and I,
half.
before
No,
the
wait, that half.
show, well, yeah, you're on this half of me. Jamie and I were laughing because today we have quite an unusual show. I haven't been a part of these shows before, and it's a show that is pretty much all about the feathers. So, if you must know, and if we have to be completely truthful, because we prefer it when people are honest, honesty is the best policy after all. Jamie and I are not the biggest birders, not for a lack of appreciation of the intricacies of what it actually means to be a bird. I mean, they can fly, that's pretty cool, right? It's just,
Hmm.
I prefer things with eyelashes and hair, apparently. That's where my heart lies. However, that doesn't stop me from appreciating the other things that don't have hair, like the birds. So hopefully, we will all be able to appreciate them today, right? I don't think we've got too many people joining us just yet. So hopefully in the next little while or so, we'll have more. But just remember, this is a live and interactive show. You can send us all your comments, your questions. We love speaking to everyone. Although Jamie and I can go over a very long time just chatting to one another. But, it's always nicer when there's more people. So for now, the very first one to greet us for the afternoon is Zygote. You're saying, hi, Ali Olivieri and Pajama Patterson. I think that's going to be your name forever, Jamie. You're,
Hi,
you're
Zygo.
never going to be rid of that nickname, will
I
you?
know. James took it over to Africa Geographic, and now everybody calls me pajamas there too. No, I don't. Just it's happened.
I mean, did you ever think that you were going to be pajamas growing up? Was that, the
No,
nickname of yours?
I wasn't high on my list of nicknames.
I don't. To be fair, I don't think it was for anyone, but gotta be saying for James once he loves saying my full name though, which is very odd because nobody calls me by my full name, so that is always interesting. I feel like he's always shouting at me, and I'm like, yes, sir.
Sorry, I don't know what I did.
Exactly. So, Suki V from the UK, you're saying greetings all. Looking forward to the show. So are we. We'll see what the birds are up to or have been up to this week. Hi, Ali and Jamie. Have a nice show from Sicko. Thank you very much. Ozzy Jan, I really do enjoy you because you always got a coffee. So you said your coffee is brewed and ready to soon drink. Good. I like that. I am on order today because it is still very, very hot in South Africa. It's been very humid in the last while. Jamie seems a little bit cooler than what I am, but who
It's
knows how
still
long.
it's still cold. It's still cold in Johannesburg.
It's always cold in Johannesburg. Whoever said
Sorry,
it's
at
always
least
sunny
someone
and
else.
warm in South Africa, they didn't know what they were saying. It's a lie.
Yeah.
And then we've got Bob from Kalamazoo saying good morning. And okay, this one came in really quickly. Rolling trouble. You sound like the thunders we've got here. You say, hi, ladies from Washington. Well, hi to you too. Now, I think I have digressed quite a bit. So I am just going to say hello to Gemma from our behalf, which is the last one that Aiden's just sent in. You're saying, good day, all. So excited to learn more about the beautiful birds of Africa. Righty. So without further ado, let's head over to whatever it is that the birds were doing at El Doño, our very first clip of the afternoon. And then we will continue saying hello to everyone once we've said hello to the actual birds, who are the stars of the show.
Wow.
This is a great opening, though.
Oh man. It's so sweet because it looks like it's trying to hold up a skirt at the same time.
So a female then.
What an epic sighting.
Trish and I have been very partial to the old Doño cam. It always has something great. Not to say anything about the other cameras, but maybe it's the novelty. But Kenya is a very special place, and wonderful things happen. Although I can see a bit of the pipe at the back. If you, Harrier Hog, if you could move a little bit to my right, that'll give us the impression that
Yes,
it's not a
ideally.
man-made waterfall.
Shuffle up a little
Oh,
bit. I've never seen a Harrier hawk have a bath before. I mean,
yeah.
I've never doubted that they do. It's just I've never actually seen it.
No, I think the one that I've seen more commonly are the starlings. You can always see them whenever in the jungles. Whenever there's a
Yeah.
puddle, you'll find them in there, especially after the rains. But it is very nice seeing a raptor in the water. They do it, as Jamie was saying. It's just that you don't see it maybe all that often. Bigger birds, maybe something like vultures, they have to keep very tidy because they hang out in very dirty places. So they have to constantly clean and preen themselves. And then things like storks and so on. But eagles or harrier hawks, it's very cool to see them do this. And look, it did cover the pipe for us. So
It did.
10
It
out of 10.
heard you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ask and you shall receive, apparently.
Oh, no, no, spoke too soon.
Sense of humor, as all birds do.
Ali and I, when we were presenting live safaris, invariably, if you stopped and you put your camera on a bird, as soon as they said to you, "You live," the bird had flown away. It was uncanny. It was like they knew.
Oh, they knew. I'm certain they knew. They couldn't have timed it if they didn't know every single time. That was very funny. That was actually a great clip. I really enjoyed that. Okay, feather friends, you're up there. And if you were wondering, that bird that we saw is an African Harrier hawk. You'll get it both in Kenya and you will also get it here in South Africa. So keep an eye on the cameras. Maybe it'll be somewhere there. And it's actually a very special bird to see. It's quite an unusual bird in its hunting strategies. You'll often see it hanging upside down from the trees and then just balancing from its legs, going up and down, sort of trying to get into the crevices of the barks of the trees to rip out whatever might be living in there, which is, sometimes it can be a little bit gruesome. So not always
I don't think
great.
I've ever had a boring Harrier hawk sighting. They're always
No.
up to something. Yeah.
Yeah, they're very cool. I like them. So we opened great. I see here Tammy Zulu. You're saying hi, Ali and Jamie. Miss you, ladies. Well, thank you very much. Glad that you could join us today. Jan Powers, you're saying hi, Ali and Jamie. Well, hello back to you. Rolling Trouble, not a birder either. But how cool was this clip that we just saw? I liked it, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah.
had we opened with a guinea fowl, I might have cried. But Harrier Hog was pretty cool.
I actually know a cool fact about guinea fowl, but that's an aside.
Okay, well, just hit us with your cool fact now that you've mentioned it.
So, well, apparently, vulture and guinea fowl live in really complex family groups, as in as complex as other social mammals like elephants or lions. And I was reading this study thinking, are they actually smarter than we thought they were? And the scientists basically said no. It essentially means that what how we always thought of sociality as being a sign of developed intelligence probably isn't. So we can all breathe easy. Guinea fowl are not just secretly the smartest birds ever. They,
Oh my goodness. That is very funny. I've only had really bad experiences. So if I don't know if they've been put on show, I don't you might get them at Oldonia, but they are these beautiful guinea fowls and they have this striking coloration, like these purples and blues, and they're very pretty birds. But they're very mean. More so than a normal your average guinea fowl. I used to work in a wildlife rehabilitation center, and every month we had to deworm them. And it was the most horrific experience in life because as soon as we try to do it at night so they wouldn't be as stressed, and now when you open a bird's mouth, the pipe doesn't go in the middle where you think it should go, because then you're going straight
Mhm.
into its lungs and stuff, right, Bet? So you have to go
Yep.
onto the sides. But they don't like it, and they have very sharp claws, and then now you're fighting this bird, holding it down, trying to open it was a nightmare. We probably weren't doing it right, but we just follow what the vet nurse told us. And then at one point, it's one of those moments where you're just like, do I really want to be in the in group, or do I just want to stay away? Like this is, I don't like this guinea fowls. They're mean. Didn't love them.
Gotta pay
Okay,
good money to
so
watch
I've
that.
oh no, no, no. It was funny for sure. Got a few comments that I just want to get through before we go on to our next clip. Rolling Trouble from Tuesday Shock. Oh, I can't speak from in the Tuesday show. The hug stayed there for a while. That's pretty cool. So hopefully it probably lives around there. Most eagles and birds of prey raptors are territorial, so likely hopefully it'll come back again. Zygote, you say you've seen them have a bath plenty of time at the different camps. Well, I'm jealous now because I have not actually seen it many times, so I still thought it was pretty special.
No. Well,
All right, well,
we
we've
will
got
be
quite
happy
an
with it.
yeah, absolutely. So we've got quite an exotic hello. We say it's hi ladies, this is Sarah from Kazakhstan. Haven't been around for a few weeks, finalizing the contract here. So glad to see the animals again. Well, I hope the finalization, and that's even a word of your contract, goes well. I'm glad you could join us today for some very colorful creatures. And Mako Alex, you say beautiful, you love it, watching live from Samburu in Kenya. You probably have those vulture guinea fowls, so you
Ah,
just stay away
there you
from
go.
them.
There's someone who knows.
For sure. Righty. Before we speak too much, let's head over to our next clip, which features hornbills and a squirrel, and it will likely be very interesting. We've actually got two clips that feature squirrels and birds, so it'll be interesting to see what they do in the two different instances. Seems a pretty peaceful setting, this one. Oh, until it wasn't.
Or not.
You know, I wouldn't mess with a hornbill if I was the same size as one.
Mm-mm. No way.
Yeah, I think the squirrel is just in all the wrong spots, isn't it? Paste. Off you go. It would be hilarious if the squirrel
That's
had
good
come back and
tactic.
like sort of like bombed at the hornbills and they all flew away. It would have been pretty funny.
Forage with a horn.
If I were a squirrel, I would have done that. It's
Around
not
them
uncommon
anyway.
to find different species of animals, even sort of mammals and birds and so on, feeding on the same spot. It's just the sharing of the food, which isn't always great. So if they're both after, or if all the species are after exactly the same thing, then that's when things get a little bit complicated. Seems like Jamie might have frozen a bit. I know she was going to have load shedding, so maybe that's what's happening. So fear not, I'm sure she will be back with us at some stage. Just to say hello to Mary Momo. Hello from Hot Spring, Arkansas. You know, I laugh, but I do feel like my house is a hot spring right now. It's very hot in here. Jamie, I think we've got you back, maybe? Potentially we do, but while we wait for Jamie, let's have a look
We're
at
back.
the starling and the
I'm
squirrel.
trying
Yay,
to.
you're back. We got you back, but we're gonna go see the starling and the squirrel. Not a good week to be a squirrel. Very sneaky squirrel. Goodness, this is amazing. Oh, I do love the noises that the starlings make. That's quite interesting. I mean, I think there are a couple of things that could have been happening while we were looking at that. Besides the fact, obviously, that the starling is irritated by the squirrel and wants to try and get the squirrel to go away. So it could have been that, first of all, the starling was trying to feed on the crevices or the little holes of the tree, because if you saw that there were a couple of places where it could have just tried to stick its beak inside and then try to eat that, and then the squirrel could represent direct competition. So it just wants it out of the way because it was feeding there first, and it wants to monopolize all the food sources, which is very common with all of the animals. But the other very interesting thing that could have been, and perhaps is a less or not as nice side of the squirrel, is the fact that maybe the starling has a nest somewhere on that dead tree, somewhere on those branches, and then of course the squirrel could pose a threat either to eggs or chicks that the starling might have in there, because little things the squirrel would eat them. They generally would prefer fruit and seeds and so on, but eggs are not out of the question, and tiny little infant birds neither. So it could be something of interest for them. Jamie, I think we've got you back.
I have
I
no
think you
idea
are
what
back.
happened. I'm so sorry.
That's fine. We made it through. We powered through. So we're very happy to have you back. I don't know if you managed to see the clip, but we were looking at a starling mobbing a squirrel, which was pretty
Oh,
interesting.
cool.
And the squirrel just sort of like went into a hole and then just stared at the starling like, I'm not leaving. You're not making me. But then it eventually did. So that's quite funny.
That's so weird. I mean, two of the most common smallish animals that you see out there, and the starling just what decided.
Here we go. Starling kicking the squirrel out of the way. Right. Seems like Jamie's having some technical difficulties. So sorry for that, everyone. But we are working on it, and I'm sure she's working on trying to fix it. But in the meantime, I'm going to continue because we've got other clips that we can have a look at. And Lamako Alex, you're saying, will you come to Kenya one day? Yes, I was actually in Kenya in November and I loved it. Kenya is one of my favorite places to visit. And other very cool species of starlings you get up there, which are very interesting. So hopefully we'll be able to see some of them in the Old Donya Camel, though I'm sure we have already. We just haven't focused on them too much. And then Zygote, you say Birchall starling and a squirrel family. I'm not sure what this refers to. Does a squirrel have a family there, or does a Birchall starling? But anyway, let's have a look at our next clip, which is a very special viewing of two birds that we don't get to see often on the African cameras. And it's a bird whose name is very strange, and it's a secretary bird. Yes, that is amazing. I love that there's always some sort of like random giraffe at this camera or at this water hole. It's you see, it's all the animals with legs that are too long for them to actually make a graceful drink. We all know how the giraffes drink, and then well, obviously, then the secretary birds struggle. But what is interesting about them, so if you look at the bottom part of the legs, particularly the one on the right that is quite obvious, you'll see that it doesn't have feathers that go all the way down to the talons. And it's a very interesting adaptation that these guys have got because they specialize in hunting snakes. So, of course, if they hunt snakes, they're going to use their feet and their beak to try and kill them. So, what they do is they actually stump on them. So, by having scales instead of the juicy, meaty parts down their legs, they actually have an extra protection against a snake bite or against the snake fangs, which I suppose comes in handy if your food cannot kill you while you try to eat it. Can you imagine if we all had to hunt for our own food? I think I'd be vegetarian. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't be able to hunt down a cow and then have the cow turn around and then come after me. This is very special. You do find them often in pairs, so it's not completely unusual to see two of them together, but I don't think I've ever seen secretary birds at a waterhole, two of them at the same time. It would be lovely if they had little chicks. I don't think I've actually ever seen a secretary bird chick, like a small one. Funny how the giraffe's just gone away. I thought it was coming for a drink. But then all of a sudden it decided that nope, secretary birds came here first. It is amazing how all the water holes are becoming increasingly like busy. And it's sort of like duality between the summer and the winter. Like in the winter, because there aren't as many water holes around or there isn't as much water available everywhere, then of course you'll see that a lot of the animals concentrate in the same water holes. So I'm pretty sure it'll be great to see those cams in the wintertime or in the dry season. But also because it's been so hot in general here and in Kenya, then a lot of animals are of course going to make themselves to the water holes for a drink. So we just get lucky that we see them here. Secretary birds and the zebras. Oh, Suki V, you're sharing some very interesting information with us. You're saying that the secretary birds at Oldonio are fabulous. One walked under a giraffe's like the other day. They ignore the bully elephant there. That is amazing. Oh, I would love to see that. I can't believe they would just walk under a giraffe. I had an encounter with giraffes the other day. I live in a wildlife estate, and there are giraffes here. They're not really wild, but sort of wild. They can pretend they're wild. But some of them are a little bit scary. And at one stage, they wouldn't move out of the way. And I was like, I wonder if I can just go underneath them because I would fit straight through. But decided against it. I think the secretary bird is braver than me. I don't trust giraffes. Not that close.
I feel like that was a sensible call.
Well, I also had a dog with me, so we were both just looking at the giraffe, and the
Ah,
giraffe were started looking at me, and then they started
mm,
approaching, and no, I don't want to be that one headline, silly game
no.
ranger that thought walk under the giraffe, that's not the way I go down.
That's not the way you want to be remembered.
No, definitely not. My boy, if it's gonna be an animal, at least let it be a lion or something. Hopefully not. No, I don't really want to go down eaten by anything. Um, Righty. I think I skipped. I made us go a little bit quicker, but I think I saw there that I rearranged the order of the clips. Sorry, guys. I'm just noticing that now. But if we can have a look at the red bill and the hornbill, that would be great because I do enjoy hornbills. Out of all the birds, I think they're definitely one of my favorites just because they're always entertaining, always doing something.
Mm.
Also, probably doing something they shouldn't be doing, which is even better. They really are cool. I love them.
Are those termites down there?
Um, I mean, I feel like they could potentially be termites after the rain or ants. I'm not sure.
Mm, very pale.
Although no, yeah, I hadn't seen the pail. I was just looking somewhere else. But yeah, I think they was probably eating a termite. Ah, Jamie, eyes like an eagle.
Which is incredible given my internet connection.
Ah, you had a comeback. Well done, well done.
Just swoop back in. Yeah.
No, I can see them now. I was looking somewhere else, but definitely termites. You're right. Where was I looking?
Um,
I'm shocked at my lack of eyesight. I wouldn't survive as a bird. Clearly, I'd starve.
trying to walk under giraffe. Look,
Oh, yeah. Thankfully, I'm still here. It's hard, but I am here.
it's a good.
Alrighty. Let me. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just going to say. I mean, this time of year, everything is eating termites. Everything, from leopards to tawny eagles to ground hornbills to. It's fascinating to watch how many different animals use them as a food source.
It is. Thankfully, they come in by the million, so at least there's that, right?
Yeah, I've never been
Um,
worried about them.
no, thank goodness, no. I mean, you're only worried when it's other species of termites that come and start eating your house. Then it's a different story, and it's not a fun story for most humans.
Mm-mm.
Anne Marie, you're saying in French you call the secretary bird serpentaire, that to be with snake. Fair enough. I think it's an appropriate name. Secretary bird, not really. I still don't think we could have called them something else, but that's what we went
We
for.
could have called them
And
something else. I think there's something vaguely sexist about their name, actually.
you might not be wrong. I found it offensive.
Hmm.
Um, I'm a little bit lost by this comment. Aiden, you say big nest of something? Oh, you may be referring to the termites that I didn't see. Well, glad, I got there late. Glad Jamie had this one because I clearly did not. Tommy Zulu, you're saying they're up against other animals, can really see the heights of them. I believe you're probably referring to the giraffes. Yeah, I would imagine it's quite interesting seeing everything like from above and then just being like, oh, you are tiny. Kind of like that Hornbill was doing with the poor termites. I don't think they enjoyed being eaten or, you know, and it always amazes me how they're able to just like grab anything, even termites that are tiny. I mean, just think maybe 1 centimeter, the biggest one that the hornbill was eating, and then they just pick them up and then just catch them with their beaks. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like
The
trying to do that with
proprioception
an
is
animal.
phenomenal.
No, I mean popcorn and then falls. Like we don't have these abilities, unfortunately. Righty, but I think we are running out of time. So I'm going to send us to the next clip, which is also an African Harrier hawk. That is, I think this is an Otonio. Should we take bets? Maybe it's somewhere in there. But it's giving way to a bigger animal. You see, some creatures think like me. It's interesting that you see this one, the face is not yellow. It's not as relaxed as the other one. This one is turning red.
Mm,
So it's not enjoying whatever is happening. Maybe something that happened before, maybe it's not enjoying. It looks like it's in a jacuzzi, actually, to me. Maybe it's just
it
not
does.
enjoying the zebra. I think this Harrier hook is my favorite thing of this week. It's official now.
Absolutely. It's got such personality somehow. Very easy to
You see,
anthropomorphize.
oh yeah, and you and I were worried about the birds, but they've actually been pretty entertaining. I mean, I would also be stressed if I had all these gigantic things coming towards me. To be fair, it's not a small
Especially
dazzle; it's a lot
zebra.
of zebra.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's feeling a bit surrounded there. Yep.
Definitely time to go.
I mean, I think it stuck it out. That's how I felt with the giraffes looking at me. I was like, no, I'm going to hold my ground. I'm going to stay here. And then I was like, no, I'm going through the bushes. I'm not entertaining this. So maybe I was a Harrier hook in a previous life, Jamie. This is what I've learned from today.
You need to go and find someone's jacuzzi to check.
It's not a bad thing, but I wouldn't do it now. Nowadays, it's too hot for that. I think I would probably faint or something. I don't think it would be for me. But just before we go, we've got one last clip that I would really like for all of us to see because it's a very beautiful bird. So let's have a look at the yellow-necked spurfowl at Old Donyo. That yellow is very like in your face, isn't it? This is an appropriate name. This is an appropriate bird name.
Yeah. Unlike many of the others, this really fits.
You wonder like at some stage if scientists and explorers were just having fun naming things and then they just named them outrageous things that sort of made sense.
I often wonder if they didn't do it out of spite. You know,
Well, I also chatted to a birder once, and she was this one of the most hilarious guests I've ever had, and she had, mnemonics for every single call. It was amazing. And she mentioned that a lot of the birds that we have in South Africa were actually sort of misnamed like Cape this or Cape that because they were just being shipped to the Cape by the original explorers in the day. So obviously that, but not necessarily does it mean that that animal belongs to that region. So that sort of added to the confusion and everything else. Nowadays, I think there's sort of a lot of movement for changing things and then making names that are a bit more appropriate. But some of them are just going to be
oh
with us
yeah.
forever. And there's
Some of them
nothing
are
else that we
downright offensive, actually. The old names are uncomfortable. I know they've changed most of them now.
Yeah. I mean, I
Mm,
suppose now that we know better, we do better, which is the only thing that we can
yes.
all hope. I mean, back in the day, standards were different. Now they're different, so we might as well change them. But having said that, I think it is time for us to say goodbye. I actually thoroughly enjoyed the birds. I'm surprised at how much I enjoyed them. I think this is my cue to get out more. Starting to get cabin fever due to the rains. But thank you everyone for joining, and then hopefully we shall see you guys again on Tuesday or Thursday next week. Bye for now.
Thanks, everybody.